All right, everyone asked about Frankie. There she is. She's very small. Frankie! She doesn't listen to anything.
She does.
Hi. All right. Oh, right in the junk. So, we're working in the garage with 57 Chevy time. Look at this. Look at this thing. How fantastic is it? Stopped by one of my favorite stores, Canadian Tire. Picked up a set of headlights, and I buy these. I love these. These are, they say for Ford, 70 to 80 Fords. They're literally just push-in. So on all these old tail lights and stuff like that, what I always find is the tail light itself has, or the light has to ground to the housing, and it's in there, it's kind of like crimped and stuff. Well, the connection is junk. You're always fighting ground, never works out. I hate messing with it. So I take this and I actually just Dremel out the hole. I'll show you maybe on one of these. I Dremel out the hole. This then pops in, 'cause that's all it is. It's like a Ford was like it. I guess Dodge's. This is exactly like the Satellite was, Challenger. And the bonus is, so you got your two filaments. So you have like a two filament bulb. So you have turn signal and brake. Turn signal, park light and brake. It will ground itself with these outer little springs to the housing itself, or it has a separate little ground right there. You can run that to the frame or whatever you want. I got the steering column. I did a little mess around on this. So we have the steering column mounted. I have the levers. The tilt actually works, which is nice. And then it's got 4-way. What way does this go? There we go. So that'll all be cool. I mounted this. All I did was I welded a muffler clamp to the steel kind of bracing, and that's it. So that's what holds it. I think it should be good. Everybody's happy, no worries. Now the wiring is spaghetti right now, but I have made some progress. I did a video on this on the 56 wagon. So I terminated all these, put them in that. So the steering column is hooked up. We have the obviously ignition switch was working. I gotta feed that through the hole. I don't have the a threaded piece for this, so I gotta deal with that. Otherwise, down here is just a couple of wires to deal with. This will be our brake light power. That's a fan. And in here is a little bit for the headlight switch. This headlight switch. Unfortunately, I did steal this out of the Black Widow. But for the time being, we'll put her together and make it work. I gotta look at a wiring diagram, and I'm pretty sure these two are like dome light and dash lights. And then obviously some of these things are funny. You'll have two of these will be for tail light and park light. One will be headlight and one spare. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. And that's where power comes in for this. It'll then go to these three wires, which is high-low beam switch, which I didn't pick one up, which I should have, but whatever. I can power the headlights, and then the rest all kind of goes through the turn signal switch for tail lights and brake lights and turn signal and all that stuff. So even though it looks like spaghetti, it is spaghetti. We should be able to do that. Then I can just kind of yak everything out of the dash cluster. We can get the lights going for that, but pretty simple. Yeah, we should be able to have it kind of wired up tonight, I'm hoping. I grabbed a few light bulbs, 1157s, all the good stuff. I gotta deal with the license plate light and whatnot, but we'll get the turn signals working, front and back, brake lights working. Hopefully the brake light switch is good. The headlights in. I don't know if I have any of the trim, like the rings to hold these in. We might have to get creative, but either way, once the lights are in there and all that works, and then once I get all the wiring done, interior. I think that's what we're gonna do. I want to bolt this all down, bolt the seat down. Actually, I ordered seat covers, show up today. Yeah, trim the carpet, all that good stuff. I'm gonna carry on doing some wiring here, and I'll be back shortly. So at the back of the car, I got everything kind of temporarily run, and I figured I'd just show you how it all works before I kind of put the bulb in and we bolt it all together. So this is the little light there, and we're just going to ground it against the bumper. But it's pretty simple. 2 wires go to it, and that'll control your turn signal, brake light, and park light. Danielle's going to help us out. Can you just pull the park light on, one click back. So there you go. And if we take it off ground, it doesn't work. The signal, left signal. Left signal. There you go. Were you going right?
No, I went down.
So there you go, that's working. And then turn that off. Is the park light off? Yeah, you turn that off. It's all the way in. Okay, now step on the brake. And there you go. So everything works. So next, what we're gonna do, we'll take the other one. I gotta go buy another couple of these. But I'll show you what I mean to make these fit, because this is the socket. We're gonna end up grinding that out and making one of these fit in there. So we'll see you on the bench real quick. Okay, so I got this thing just sitting on the vise. Here's what we're gonna do. Now the way this works, you're just gonna drill a hole, or auger out a hole, Dremel, whatever you want to use. I think just a big old honking step bit's the way to go. So you want the hole to be, you know, on the inside of these springs, because these obviously move in, pops in, it'll hold itself. That's it. I pulled the light bulb out of this. You can see it's see-through. The backside has all this junk. Now this is the original socket, which had a set of little kind of points that would go in there, and they just screw up. That part doesn't screw up, but like I said, this piece here, it's crimped in the actual base, and as you can see how beat up this is. Tri-5s, a lot of cars do with Tri-5s especially, that's what I'm familiar with. They sit there and they're in the open, so all the mud from the rear tires get beat up in there, so slowly but surely it corrodes, and the socket loses its ground to the housing, and the housing is grounded to the body, so then you'll have an intermittent kind of flickering taillight situation, which drives me crazy. These, you know, you can do all sorts of stuff. I've jammed wire in there, and then you kind of screw it over and all that, but these other things are like, I don't know, $8 or something like that. Canadian Tire, it's just not worth the time, and this will always work, and you can add a ground right to it and ground to the body, which I always do. So we'll just drill this out a little. So what we're trying to do is just drill it enough that we can get this socket out, which I may need to do a little more, I guess. There we go. So now you can see what I'm talking about. This is the piece that just gets crimped in there and kind of rip the crimp out. Leaves it with a nice little hole. This is going to go in from the back. As you can see, it won't quite go in, so we just got to step it maybe, 2 or 3 sizes. Take your time, do this right, because this is like that white junk metal. You can't really weld to it or anything. Try and do it from the back side. Battery is dead. Maybe I nailed it. There we go. So that's it. In, out. Problem solved. Put the light in there. You can obviously pop it up with the light in. I'm gonna run a ground from this little tab right there to the body, so I know it's good. And then this is irrelevant. This will, once you ground it, this will work just hanging out in space. That's just literally holding it. It's just a placeholder. So I'll get that on the car, and yeah, should look pretty good. So together, that lens has a crack in it, unfortunately. And they're on back order. But taillights are working. I'll just show you here. So this is the ground wire around right to the body, so you can hold it completely away and it's still grounded and working. So that's pretty slick. So slam those in. There's just 4 little sheet metal speed nuts that hold those both in. Then the other thing we have to deal with is this one here to a license plate light. This is all beat to hell, there's no cover on it or anything, so what I'll probably do is just get like a universal one, screw it in there, and run the wire to it and be done with it. Very simple, kind of a cheesy thing, but for the time being it'll work. And we have no backup lights, we have the block off plates for it. This system doesn't have that set up anyways, you gotta run a separate wire, which I've used. This kit comes with that orange wire in there. That's for a third brake light. So what I've done in the past, because that runs front to back, you just clip that off the wiring harness. It's already run. You just run that to your shifter linkage, a little micro switch, and then you can run it to the backup light. So it's actually not that big of a deal to deal with, but I just like the way this works. It's kind of cool. So we're gonna run no backup lights. I'll get that dialed together. I might back the car out a little, and then we'll start working on the front, because we do have to terminate headlights. The kit came with some new plugins there. We'll get that all together. The grill bar, I'll see if I can make the lights work. It'll probably be the same situation as this, where it's all corroded. The only thing is that is in the front, so it doesn't get as much junk on it, versus this just getting all the crap thrown at it. So if it's no good, I gotta go buy 2 more of those sockets. Not the end of the world, but Canadian Tire only had 2, so I bought them up. Gotta go to a different one. But at the very least, we can get the headlights working, I think. I don't have a high-low beam switch, a new one. I'm going to use the old one. Hopefully it'll work. I sprayed some WD-40 in it. They usually either work or they don't, and usually they always work. So hopefully that'll be good. Worst case, I can bridge it with a cotter pin or a paper clip to test it. But we should have all the lights working tonight, I'm hoping. Okay, a little screwing around. Turns out I need the sockets for the front, but I did get the headlights to work, so you can kind of see they're on there. And actually, the factory switch, look at that. So they work. Life's good. The high beam's kind of going a little funny there, but whatever. We got lights. The issue I'm running into is the buckets. I got a bunch of miscellaneous ones, and like this one has like a snap ring. This one has one that you actually thread on. This is off of 56, I think, maybe, I don't know. So it all kind of has to work together, and it turns out 5, 6, 7 different buckets, different clamps, different everything. So I gotta figure all that out. But that's a job for tomorrow. What's going on, guys? It's been a couple of days. I did a little bit of work, but I wasn't really filming. We got the tail lights all in, 100% dialed. I think that's where we left it there. I literally just drilled a hole in the old beat up license plate light and put like a universal one in, just so it has something, which works fine. Wired that all up, so that's all in. These are now bolted in. No, let's skip to the front. I went through my pile of, well, headlight buckets and trim rings and whatever. I got it all together. This one is still a little loose. I got to get in there and mess with it. What I ended up doing, because the little headlight, whatever, adjuster piece, these, ugh. So these are specific to the buckets, and the buckets are specific to the car because of the way the trim goes on. So I think 5 and 6 might be the same, but I'm not sure. And 57 is different just because the full fender is a completely different shape, and the way that the brow is held on, it's got 4 mounts, so it has to have those 4 standoffs, or 3 standoffs, sorry. The 4th is actually on the vent. This is a 57 one. You can see there's the standoffs for it. The problem with the 57, they really stick out here, really bulbous, versus this one's different. See, it just has the mount on the bottom. This is a 55. So I think 55 clips on the top and screws on the bottom, or one or the other. But anyways, you can see how much deeper it is than a 57. So, where did I put the things? These are obviously deeper for a 5 and a 7. 5 and 6, I guess, maybe. so they fit in proper. This might not be the right one. So I took some, I cut the bottom of the bucket off and made my own that fit, so it works. We have all the lights working. I guess I can show you that. It's a little show and tell thing here. There's the ignition. Put that on. Turn that on. Oh, I put a universal headlight switch in. Oh, the dead battery? Must have a dead battery. This was working. Oh, it was a loose battery. So we have headlights. We have turn signals. I didn't have amber. I just had a couple 1157 clear, so I'll have to change that. In the front, I did the same thing. I drilled out the factory bar and put in those snap ones with the ground, which I just like those. So that worked out pretty good. Yeah. Then I had that done, so I started working on the interior. So I mean, I didn't film that because I thought, it's the same as doing the back. Who cares? Then I got in here and I literally just started cleaning up the wiring harness. So I got it all kind of together. It was fine. I held it up in here. Some of the factory clamps and stuff down here. This is all the extra stuff we're not going to use, but we may steal some 12 volts. This is the fan. I got to hook that up, and everything's sticking through here. It's going to go with a cluster. I don't know if I showed you or not, but I mounted it with a muffler clamp. I welded that on there. Now, this thing didn't have a cluster and I got it. I thought I had a spare, which I do, which is a little beat up. So I need a new speedo, but everything else is there. I have all the lights and stuff that'll make it work. I actually even had a speedometer cable. I was going to go like full OEM. So that's not going to work. But, well, I'm putting it in. I'll put like a GPS speedo. I actually have one. Was put in there for the time being. Pretty simple to wire it up. The only issue I'm going to run into now, the way a 57 goes, it has this big kind of whatever trim piece just to cover the column. But because now I have a tilt column and I sucked the column in a fair bit. And here's my thinking. I wanted to seat in the factory location, so there was some room in the back seat. I typically push it back, but every inch you push back, you lose in the back. So this way here at the tilt, I can have it up all the way back and fit a smaller wheel. I have the factory wheel, smaller wheel fit, and I can actually drive it by pushing the column further away from myself. That in turn is now going to screw that up. I didn't think that all the way through. So I will have to trim this, which I mean, I'm not really too caring too much about it. But that's what we're going to work on now. Get that in, get this wired up. I think I have a bunch of lights. So signal lights, the fuel gauge, the gen light, and I think it has the indicator, high-low indicators. Yeah, right there. So that's what we'll get going right now. And otherwise, I just cleaned it up. Oh, seat cover. Look at that, seat's bolted in. We're really getting there. I messed with the trim a little bit. I put some wire to some handles, so the handles work on the inside. I had a handle for that side. I had a vice grip for this side, but they work. So yeah. We'll carry on in there, and I'd like to get that kind of together. Then we're going to have to rob some parts, probably off the Black Widow, unfortunately, just for the time being. I need trunk latch, hood latch, and I think that's it. I stole the taillight covers, I stole the headlight covers, I stole a bunch of stuff off this car. Not that I need it right this second, and ultimately, when this car comes off the road, the other car will be going on the road, so let's do the old switcheroo, and we'll go from there. Unfortunately, lenses and stuff are all in back order, which is a pain, but we'll track them down. Okay, so I trimmed off the bottom of the cluster a little bit. We got the column hanging down, but it does fit, so we'll see. Now up here, there's really actually not that many wires. Well, one might have blown a fuse. This one here is gauge power, so you can tee this off or whatever. It's to obviously power up the gauges. In this one, because it's so old, it would only have the fuel, and it actually had an electric temperature sender, but I don't have the proper sender for the car, so we're not using it. So that, and then this is for the fuel gauge to the sender in the tank itself. So this will go to one side of the sender. I think it says ignition, the other one says sender. So put those two together, very simple. This one here is the high-low beam. So we'll put that goes dead center there. And these two are the indicators on the cluster for when the signal is going. So pretty simple. Like obviously in the front it just looks like that in the back. So the signals are there and there. Gen light, oil pressure. We don't have a center for the oil pressure, so we're not using that. I will hook up the gen light to the alternator stuff. This one is, these are just light bulbs to light up the gauge. Same with these two there, which we're not going to put those in. This wire right here is for that, so light the gauges up. Unfortunately, I only had 3 of the little sockets, and they take 62 or 3 or some small little light bulb, which I also don't have. So we'll just kind of snap it all together and we'll pop it in, and it'll just kind of sit there. I'll put 1 or 2 screws. The way this goes has 2 studs that go in there and a couple of screws there and there and there. So we'll just put like 2 screws in it just to hold it, but it'll all be wired up. Then we'll just pop it out, put some light bulbs in. But in the meantime, the fuel gauge should work. And yeah, we know the signals work, so the signal ones are simply tied off of the power that runs there, so they will absolutely work. And that's it. This does have to ground itself to the cluster or to the dash, which all metal, no big deal. It should work. So I'll just kind of button this up real quick. We'll put it in there, we'll zap it up, put the steering wheel on. I kind of think we're done inside for right now. Maybe we'll go outside and steal some parts off the black car. Make the hood latch work, deck lid, and then actually under the hood we still got to wire up the fan. Oh yeah, so the wires I didn't use were these. This one here is 12 volts switched to the radio, which we don't have radio. That's the fan, so I'll put a toggle switch between these two, and that'll be fine. And then this one was tachometer. So there you go, that's all the wires left. Really, start off with a lot. There's really not that much left when you zap strap it all to everything underneath. Yeah. We'll get this in with the wheel on and it'll look pretty. I love the old cars. You know, 65, 6, something like that earlier. When you have the headlights on, the park lights go off. I just love that look. So we got the headlights on, we got the hood latched. Actually a proper latch on it now. Where is it? This is embarrassing for a guy who like works on nothing but Tri-5 Chevys. Have I broken it? Oh, there we go. There we go. So there you go. That's all set up. What else we got? Oh, I hooked the fan up. Well, kind of. I got to get a toggle or set it on thermostat, but for now, here. So we got fan. We got the dash all in. I mean, it's not pretty, but put my phone there, a little GPS, something like that. For the time being, it's all in. I got to get lights tomorrow, so that's on the list. Tomorrow is lights for that. Proper park lights, because they're not amber and turn signal. Around back, I got the deck lid all latched and stuff like that, so I actually took the deck lid that came with it over there. Had the lock in it. I can see in here. Oh, that's my license plate light. It'll do the trick, I think. So there we go. Perfecto. It looks a little kind of cheesy, but it'll light up the license plate. What else do we do? I think that's kind of it. The e-brake, I'm missing one little threaded piece, so tomorrow I'll see if I can put that together, the adjuster. I think I have one somewhere. If not, I'll just kind of strap it together, strap it up, just for a test drive around the block. Man, this thing looks good. I really dig it. So we'll do that. Otherwise, under the hood, I got to hook up the alternator for charging, make sure it is charging, radiator cap, just little odds and ends like that. But I think tomorrow I'll do that. I'm going to call her for tonight. Tomorrow we should be able to drive it at least around the block. I got to tighten up the front end because I don't think I've done that yet. Really, the car just needs to kind of come in up on jack stands. I cleaned up the garage a little bit. But I think it just needs kind of up on stands, give it a once over front to back, and then we'll take it for a ride around the block. That sounds like a good way to end the video. And then really, I don't know. Go take it in, get it inspected, get a license plate on it, and drive it 3 times before it snows. Because I'm a genius, and I built a 57 Chevy Roadster in Canada in September. But that also means we get back on the Black Widow. Man, the hounding I'm getting for not working on this thing is crazy. We'll leave this out in the driveway. Oh, everyone's always asking, where am I going to put this thing? That's where it's going. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Next day. So I'm counterpinning the whole front end because it was not counterpinned or tight. That was exciting. Put lug nuts on all the, well, 3 lug nuts because that's all I had. What else did I do? Put the fan on the toggle switch. Merc came over, we're doing alignment. So he's lining a 4x4 up with the rocker. This is how I guess he used to do it all the time. You want a couple more turns on it?
Yeah, I would like a couple more turns on it. Yeah, it still looks towed in on this side.
So he's using his well-trained, not worn out eyeballs at all.
You're going the wrong way.
What? No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're towing it in.
Oh. Is that what you wanted? You said toe in.
No, I said it's got toe in. You want toe out.
It's all about communication.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyways, we'll do this up. And then we'll put a tape measure across the treads of the tires. And then we're driving it, right?
That's it.
Well, wait, Mark, explain how using this block of wood works.
The tires are supposed to be more or less straight ahead. And right now they're towed in, which means the front of the tires are closer together than the back. And we typically want about 1/8 of an inch, and we've probably got about 1 1/4 inches. So,
oh yeah, you can like see that the wood is angled.
Yeah, so now we're moving it right along there. So.
And we're using my perfectly straight rockers as a guide.
Yeah.
That are going to be perfect.
Yeah. That's not bad. I'd say I would check it with your tape measure now.
I think the tape measure is on the back of the car, maybe? Let's go from the inside tread. You gotta go down a little.
Just a sec. Okay, so what are we... Well, just as long as you put it in the same place, it doesn't really make any difference. Whatever. Well, this center one will line up nice, so we're right just about 61. Yeah, 61 1/8. And we are 59. Ooh, that's way out. Are you doing it at the same place? Yeah? I think so. Can't imagine it can be that far out. That's like 1 inch, and I can't believe that. We're not touching anything, eh?
Nope.
Wow. I mean, that was...
Well, this tire's definitely towed in, I think, lots. When I look at it. You say my rockers aren't straight?
No, maybe. I don't know. Let's try.
Well, this one's towed in big time. See it with my eyeball. This one's not bad. I think this one's towed in a lot. Yeah.
Can also go a little bit by the amount of tread left on that.
You know, look, just this tire has to be towed in big time.
Well, it is pretty straight to the quarter, so.
Well, just look at it from the front. It just looks.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you have to go.
I think the other tire's pretty straight, and this one's not. Get this all dialed together and be right back. Alright, well, we got the old girl running. Got the fan hooked up to a proper switch. We got the alternator all wired up. We got the motor mounts on it. Charging. Look at that. So yeah, I gotta find a radiator cap. Or not. we'll check a few little mounts here and there up top, make sure the spark plug wires aren't touching the headers. That's what they are. Double check all the lights. We got the front end somewhat aligned enough I can get it to work and put a proper alignment on it next week at some point. But yeah, wheels straight, tires are somewhat straight. I only have 3 lug nuts in each tire or each rim. I got to get some more of those tomorrow. Anyway, sun visors. Yeah, this thing, I don't even know if it has 3rd gear. I think it has 2nd during a burnout, but that's about it. Check all the fluid levels. It smells like burning, which I think that's from probably not being driven ever. I'm gonna back this thing out, we'll hose it all down, give it a once over. So we don't have a temperature gauge, we do have oil pressure. Put a fire extinguisher in it, and I might just go up and down the road maybe a couple of times. I gotta clean the window because it's got overspray on it. Someone didn't do a very good job masking for some reason, and it's a little pitted. It's almost like someone was welding and grinding right beside it. But we'll do that outside, move the cobes, and yeah, just the first voyage after this thing has been so far apart. There's just the list of what I forget is large. So we probably won't go that far, but we'll go somewhere. So yeah, we'll back this thing out and then we'll have a little bit of fun, end the video. Okay, shell backed out. I cleaned the window up best I could. She's still not great. Someone put a lot of welding sparks in that sucker. Hood's latched down. What's that?
I wonder who.
Yeah, I wonder who. What else did I do out here? Clean that up, check the fluids. I think it's some of these other oil changes. There might be a little bit of water in that motor still from when it was stored improperly. Shocker. We got paper towel, fire extinguisher, hammer, flathead screwdriver.
Patience?
I think that's all we really need. I think there's gas in it. I put a jerry can in. See if I have another one. I stole a rad cap off the big block. Yeah, I think we're gonna give her. At least we'll look good broken down on this thing, right? We're just gonna take her down the street. I wouldn't. Danny can push it back if we have to. Man, this is a good looking car. I really hope the trim doesn't all fall off because I think it's just all glued on in certain spots. But all right, let's give her. Well, we're not the bad clean so far. It's got a few rattles. The gas pedal's stiff. First gear. Where's that second gear? Second gear. I'm trying to know if there's any linkage or anything hooked up to this thing. Oh yeah, 3rd gear. Actually, this column's nice. I got it up. I feel like a school bus driver. Good thing. It smells a little burny. It's really not too bad. It smells like burning oil is what it smells like. Got lots of oil pressure. We got brakes. I think we got signals. This thing is nice. No, I'm gonna get some, so we gotta put a few more miles on it. The steering wheel's crooked. We gotta get proper insurance on it. Because there ain't much right now. Honestly, it actually doesn't rattle that bad. Like the dash and stuff is rattling, but nothing's hooked up there. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good car. What do you think, yeah?
It's excellent. I love it.
We gotta deal with the back, whatever. It's not held down any which way. I'm sure it'll blow away on the highway, but
This is awesome.
it's cool, eh?
I love this. I can't believe this.
Transmission's not super happy.
Not bad for 60 days.
Yeah. Really
From
got a
literally
lot,
buried in the hole in the ground.
we got a lot done in a hurry. Anyways, that's where we're leaving for now. I'm gonna get insurance on it. We'll do a proper test drive and all that stuff. 'Cause it needs a little bit of love before I really want to go too crazy on it. But that'll probably be the next video with this thing anyways. Once we get it all kind of figured out and work all the kinks out, figure out the transmission. I think there's no vacuum line to it whatsoever. That probably doesn't help. And I'm worried it's gonna burn. It's got a bit of a stumble, or surge. It must have a vacuum leak on this thing. I'll need another oil change on it, we'll give it a once over, we'll tune it up properly. Make sure there's gas in it. I still gotta do the lights in the dash. That's why I didn't buy a Canadian Tire today when I was there, and I should have. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.